Hello, brothers and sisters. Thanks for joining me again. Hey, this time I want to do a story about Texas, and I don't do too many stories about Texas, but little known fact, I live in Texas. And I did go to university at Texas A&M. So this story caught my attention. So this is in the Dallas Express. Never heard of this paper before. Student kicked out of classroom for opposing gender lesson. A&M removes a dean and department head over uproar. Wow, so this is huge. So that's really why I'm doing this story. I don't really do stories very often about gender, but it is about Texas A&M and people getting fired. So let's see what this story is about. So this story's from September 9th. Today's September 9th, so it's definitely current. So let's see. And I'll link this in the notes so you can read the whole story if you want, but I expect I'll read the whole thing. Texas A&M University has removed 2 academic officials following the fallout of a viral classroom video showing a professor telling a student to leave after raising objections to a lesson on gender identity. Yeah, see, this is Texas, and recently the governor and the state legislature in Texas have passed a bunch of laws around the whole DEI and stuff like that. And I think Trump has said that if you're teaching DEI type topics or transgenderism type topics, you might not get any federal funding. And I don't know exactly what he said, but it's something like that. So let's see what this says. The move came after Representative Brian Harrison, a Republican from Midlothian, posted the video online Monday, demanding the removal of A&M president and sparking national attention. Ooh, he was trying to get the president of Texas A&M fired over this. By evening, Welsh directed his provost to remove a dean and department head from administrative posts, citing course content that he said strayed from the published catalog. Yeah, professors have to abide by the course catalog that's approved by the school in the degree plans. And then they also have to post syllabuses of the lecture material at the beginning of the semester. And then they've got to teach to that syllabus. Or that's what I remember when I was in school. It's been a little while though. I learned this afternoon that key leaders in the College of Arts and Sciences approved plans to continue teaching a course content that was not consistent with the course's published description, Welsh said in a statement shared by the university Monday night. As a result, I directed the provost to remove the dean and the department head, from their administrative positions effective immediately. So the president just fired both of them from those admin positions. They're probably still tenured professors at the university, so can teach, but have lost those positions. So this is pretty big. I don't know if this guy, Brian Harrison, is a state or federal Texas representative, but he was calling for the firing of the president. So the president decided not to mess around with this. All right, so this looks like this went out on X from the official Texas A&M University Twitter. I need to follow that. I don't think I followed that. A statement from Texas A&M University President Mark A. Welsh. I learned this afternoon that key leaders in the College of Arts and Sciences approved plans to continue teaching a course content that was not consistent with the course's published description. We'll go to X and see what more it says here. If I'm not subscribed to this, let me subscribe. Yeah, let me follow this since I am an alumni. As a result, I directed the provost to remove the dean and department head from their administrative positions effective immediately. Our students use the published information in the course catalog to make important decisions about the courses they take in pursuit of their degrees. If we allow different course content to be taught from what is advertised, we let our students down. When it comes to our academic offerings, we must keep our word to our students and to the state of Texas. A statement from retired General Mark A. Welsh III, Texas A&M University president. Texas A&M has a long history of hiring generals as presidents or chancellors or whatever, because Texas A&M was actually started in a little town called College Station in Texas, and one of its first missions was really to train Army officers. There's an organization called the Corps of Cadets at Texas A&M that every year graduates from that corps go on and take commissions in the armed services of the United States. All right, so let's get back to the story. U.S. Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights Division, Harmeet Dillon, said her office would review the matter, calling it deeply concerning. The Houston Chronicle reported Texas A&M System Chancellor Glenn Hagar also criticized the class materials, which included slides about gender identity, calling them irreconcilable with the system's values. Yeah, again, this is all coming down because the state of Texas has been cracking down on the culture wars on gender ideology teaching to students. They've really come down and said, really, we shouldn't be teaching that gender ideology in Texas public schools. It is unacceptable for A&M system faculty to push a personal political agenda, Hagar posted on X. Let's read this statement from the chancellor, Glenn Hagar. It is unacceptable for A&M system faculty to push a personal political agenda. We have been tasked with training the next generation of teachers and child care professionals. That responsibility should prioritize protecting children, not engaging in indoctrination. Today, I was made aware of video recordings as well as instructional materials which are irreconcilable with the values of Texas A&M University system. Early investigations appear to indicate that the professor who taught this course failed to comply with clear instructions to align course descriptions with course materials. Further findings reveal that the failure continues to be an issue with this professor. I will work with the Board of Regents to make certain that the A&M system takes the disciplinary action necessary to ensure this does not happen again at one of our campuses. And yeah, so I don't want to wade too deeply into the culture wars here, but I do not think we need to be teaching children about transgenderism. I don't know exactly what curriculum this class was in. It's implying here that this was a class aimed at teachers who are going to teach children in schools. And we don't need that. And it's like Snoop Dogg said. He got in a lot of trouble. He had to kind of do a retraction. He went on a podcast and he said he took his young grandson to the new Buzz Lightyear movie was. And in it, they've got two lesbians and they've got a kid. And the grandson looked at him and said, "Hey, Papa, how can two ladies have a baby?" And he didn't know what to say. And he went on his podcast, said, "I don't want to talk about this with my grandson. I just want to watch a movie. I don't know how to answer him." And that's right. We really don't need to be teaching grade school kids about this. I would say this really doesn't belong in our primary or secondary education. I do think it is okay to put it in university classes, but it does need to be in just select curriculums where it's appropriate. In this case, it looks like Mr. Hagar felt it was really political indoctrination. And I'm going to get a lot of hate mail from this. Harrison's original post on September 8th included hidden camera video, course materials, and letters to both the Trump administration and Texas Governor Greg Abbott. The footage, which he said came from a whistleblower, showed a student telling the professor that teaching about gender identity was against her religious beliefs and not legal. The professor responded that the student was mistaken and told her to leave. "I'm not convinced that your proposal will be effective in stopping me from teaching things that are biologically true," the professor said in the recording. "It's time for you to leave now." Well, I think that that's up for debate. I didn't see the course material, but anything about transgenderism, there's a lot of things I see out there that are not biologically true. So it'll be interesting. I don't know if we're going to see the video here. Welsh initially suggested the professor would not be fired, according to additional recordings Harrison released, though he acknowledged A&M had offered alternative ways for students to complete the course. By Tuesday morning, Harrison escalated his criticism, publishing that what he described as internal A&M emails. In one post, he alleged the department had threatened the student with disciplinary action and pressured her not to release the recordings in exchange for keeping her grade. No, see, that's not right either. So that's why the administrators are getting fired. And this is a tough one because generally professors have wide latitude in what they teach under kind of academic freedom kind of standards. But on the flip side of that, they do have to adhere to the published syllabus and the published course descriptions. And if they go against that, there could be problems. So again, this will be a tough one. I don't know if she's going to get fired or not, but she's definitely in some trouble here. Instead of firing the professor who kicked the conservative student out of class, the TMU department had blamed the student for disruptive behavior and tried to protect the professor by threatening the student against the release of undercover videos, Harrison wrote on X on September 9th. Texas A&M has not confirmed the authenticity of the emails Harrison published. A university spokesman did not immediately respond Tuesday to questions about the materials. The episode comes as lawmakers such as Harrison continue to press universities on compliant with the state's 2023 ban on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Okay, so Harrison must be a state legislator. Faculty advocates have warned that such scrutiny halts academic freedom, the principle that allows professors to pursue controversial research and teaching. Others argue that faculty are focused more on indoctrination than on rigorous instruction. Yeah, they need to get out of the indoctrination business. And I think that is actually a problem. I got no problem with adults being trans, none at all. But don't push it on the kids. People need to reach the age of majority, and then they can decide these things for themselves. We don't need to be pushing this kind of stuff on kids. For me, that's a line in the sand. Texas A&M's summer course at the center of the controversy was a children's literature class that incorporated lessons on gender. Harrison circulated screenshots of a handful titled The Gender Unicorn and a slide reading, "Let's talk about gender in children's lit." Yeah, we shouldn't be talking about that in children's lit in schools. Nope, shouldn't be there. In a separate audio clip Harrison posted, Welsh is heard defending the existence of LGBTQ study courses, saying students preparing for careers in psychiatry, education, or nonprofits need that information to be more effective in their jobs. Those people don't get to pick who their clients are, what citizens they serve, and they want to understand the issues affecting the people they're going to treat, Welsh said in the recording. That is actually fair, but again, let's keep it to classes that are tailored for psychiatrists or psychologists, not for ones that are going to be teachers. And again, I don't know what this class really was yet. It hasn't come up in the story. Not teachers of children, because teachers of children don't need to know about this because we should not be teaching our children to be transgender in our schools. 100% believe that. The university has not disclosed whether the professor in the video remains employed or under investigation. I'm sure she's under investigation. They're looking into do her classes match up with the approved materials. Harrison and Welsh have previously had dust-ups on related matters, and the representative referred the university to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. In July, the duo sparred in the media over the merits and legality of targeted recruiting, a practice that allows universities to recruit specific student groups, as reported by the Daily Express. Yep, I'm completely against that. Affirmative action is dead. The Supreme Court has said you can't do that anymore, and we shouldn't be doing that anymore. The video is not here. Let me go see and find the video and end on that. All right, so I've gone out and I found the video on X that I believe is the one that we're referencing here. It looks like it's 2 minutes and 25 seconds long. Let's just watch it really quick. I've already done all my commentary, so I'll just do a quick closing afterward. But I think it's worth watching the video so we can decide if this student is right or wrong, if the professor is right and wrong. Let's watch it for ourselves.
It's kind of a recap of our remarks on gender and sexuality. Moving from last class. One thing we didn't get to in our last class.
I just have a question because I'm not entirely sure this is legal to be teaching. Because according to our president, there's only 2 genders, and he said that he would be freezing agencies funding programs that promote gender ideology. And this also very much goes against not only myself, but a lot of people's religious beliefs. And so I am not going to participate in this because it's not legal, and I don't want to promote something that is against our president's laws as well as against my religious beliefs.
You certainly have the right to engage in things that you find right. And you suggested false.
Yes.
You are under a misconception that what I'm saying is
Can you explain to me how teaching us about gender identity and transgenderism and that there's more sexes than
gender isn't illegal.
Huh?
My gender isn't illegal.
Gender? What do you mean? Your gender is not illegal. According to President Trump's executive order, if you want me to read the paragraph in the order itself.
Not read that. If you are uncomfortable in this class, you do have the right to leave.
Yes.
What we are doing is not illegal. And if you would like to make the claim that it is, you need to talk to the department head or the head of undergraduate.
Well, I've already been in contact with the president of A&M, and I actually have a meeting with him in person to show all of my documentation tomorrow. But
we are also aware, and this is part of why there was an observer in class.
yes.
I'm not convinced that your proposal will be effective in stopping me from teaching things that are biologically true, because I do have the legal and ethical authority, all of the professional expertise in this classroom.
Okay.
It's time for you to leave now.
Yeah, no, I am.
All right, so there we've watched it. It does seem odd to me that she would say she can teach things that are biologically true. I think a lot of biologists would tell you that there are only two sexes. And for me, gender and sex is the same thing. There are only two. It's determined by if you have male chromosomes or if you have female chromosomes. If you have one, you're a male. If you have the other, you're female. That's biology. You can split hairs about all these other quote unquote genders. Fair enough. If you want to talk that way, great. But if you're going to say that's biologically true, that'll be a very interesting argument. And it looks like the president of A&M, the chancellor of A&M, you kind of know what they're up against here. They don't want to be fired. They don't want Trump cutting federal funds to Texas A&M, especially when the governor and the attorney general of Texas are both Republicans also. And the Texas legislature has passed anti-DEI legislation recently. So they're both be in hot water if this becomes a big issue. So he did the expeditious thing and removed the top administrators who pressured the girl to drop her case. It looks like she's not. It looks like she's sending all her evidence to everyone she can. And I would not be surprised if this teacher ends up getting fired, even if she's got tenure. I think this is going to go on for a while. And then, she's free to sue the university. But it looks like that's the way public universities are going in Texas right now. They're calling this gender ideology and culture wars, whether you agree with that or not. That's what they're calling it. And they're not having it because they're worried about their jobs and their funding. So that's just the way it is. So let me know what you guys think. Was this the right thing to do? Was this the wrong thing to do? Should the girl have done something different? I feel because of the culture wars and the way it is, any class that teaches this sort of material, it needs to be clearly spelled out in the course description. And then that way students can opt in. And it should not be a required course for whatever it is. And I am okay with it being taught to psychiatrists, psychologists, mental health professionals, people that are going to pre-med, things like that. So people that are going to be needing this in their adult work life. But I'm not okay teaching this to anyone who's out there teaching children in our primary and secondary schools. All right, let me know what you think. Like and subscribe if you do. Don't watch me if you don't. Thanks. Bye.